Hi, this is Todd with ESOTERIC Car Care. Today we're going to be taking an extensive look at Geon Mohs coating. Geon Mohs coating, this stands at the top of their non-professional line of coatings. But we'll get a little bit more into the specifics of the product and where it stands and how to use it and everything else a little bit later on in the video. First of all, we want to talk a little bit about Geon, the brand. Geon is a global brand with distributors in 30-some countries around the world. Very popular product line, and here in the United States over the last couple of years, it has become one of the premier and best-selling brands you're going to find in the car care industry. Now, a little bit about our involvement with the product line. Here at ESOTERIC, we were the first distributors here in the United States, and we were the exclusive U.S. importer of the brand 3 or 4 years ago. We did a little bit of testing with it. We found out how great the product was and decided that we wanted to make the investment to bring the product in, bring it to the car care and detailing communities because we were so happy with the results that we were getting with the products. Fast forward a few years later, we helped Geon set up a U.S. distribution center here in the United States, and then now it's been spread out to other distributors so they can really maximize their market penetration with it. We have a very good relationship with the guys at Geon. We've helped them out at the SEMA show. We'll be going again this year, and we continue to move forward in the future. And speaking of the future, we're going to be moving into more specific how-to videos here very shortly, and that's going to have a heavy involvement with the Geon brand. Two companies work very closely together, and we look forward to just expanding the amount of information that's out there on proper detailing and car care. Okay, now we've talked a little bit about the history and about Geon as a brand. Let's talk a little bit about coatings in particular. What are coatings and why do you want to have them on your vehicle? Let's take a look at the history a little bit of protection on automotive finishes. For the longest time, you had a wax to choose from, particularly on paste wax. They don't last that long. They can be challenging to apply, and you constantly have to reapply the product to keep your protection. Then sealants hit the market. Sealants, particularly the polymer sealants, a lot easier to use than a wax, and they're going to last a little bit longer. With waxes, you typically get a month or two worth of durability out of it. With sealants, you're going to get anywhere from 2 to 6 months out of it. Once again, they're going to look good on the surface, they're going to provide nice hydrophobic properties, and they're going to offer you that protection from the elements. Well, then the next level of protection came in the form of coatings. There's glass coatings, quartz coatings, a lot of different formulations, but they all do very similar things in that they offer long-term durability. You can typically get 2+ years out of a coating. They're going to maintain a high gloss level over an extended period of time. They've got self-cleaning characteristics, so the maintenance on your vehicle is going to be a lot easier. And the fact that it just reduces the amount of time you have to spend carrying after your car. Now, coatings are not a magical product that you put on that's going to prevent it from all scratches or prevent it from all stains and prevent you from having to do any kind of maintenance. They still require maintenance, and they've got specific maintenance products that you want to use with them. But by coating your vehicle, be it the paint, glass, wheels, things of that nature, it's going to stay protected for long periods of time, and it's going to look a lot better for long periods of time. So that's a little bit about coating, what it is not, and the history of protection on automotive finishes. Now let's get into some of the more specifics about Geon Mohs. First, let's take a look at Mohs and kind of where it stands not only within the Geon product line, but within the industry itself. Like I said before, Mohs sits at the top tier of what they offer to the general public. They do have a couple of products that they offer to professional or certified detailers only, and that is Mohs Plus and that is Durabead. We're going to talk a little bit about how this relates to that here in a little bit. But let's also take a look at where it stands within the industry. There's a lot of different coatings out there on the market that are used in a lot of different ways. Once again, we've talked about glass coatings, we've talked about quartz coatings, different kind of coatings. Some of them are used in different manners, and some of them have different durability that they offer. And some, unfortunately, have kind of crazy claims that they offer when it comes to durability. But typically you're going to have coatings that are going to show anywhere from a year to 3 or 4 years in durability. And this one's going to kind of fall in the middle, depending on how many layers you put down. You can easily get 2-3 years worth of durability out of Geon Mohs. Also, when we're talking about coatings and how many layers, some coatings out there are one and done. You just lay down one layer of it, it's going to work very well for a couple of years. Other products out there, to really get them to work, you have to put an insane amount of coatings on them, which isn't really cost effective or time effective when you're doing it that way. Here at Esoteric, we like looking for products that are a little bit more easy to use, easy to work with. And even with Mohs at a minimum of 2 coats, maximum of 3, it's not too much effort involved in getting as much out of them as possible. What happens when you do more coats with Mohs? You're going to even out the amount of thickness that's on the layer, and it's going to increase hardness. It's going to increase durability out of it. It's going to increase the looks of it at the same time. And speaking of some of the characteristics, we always talk about a handful of characteristics when we're looking at coatings. We're looking at gloss, we're looking at durability, we're looking at self-cleaning characteristics, hardness, so on and so forth. So let's take a look at some of those individually. On gloss layer, now typically when you're working with the coatings, you're going to be adding a little bit of gloss to it. It's no different than adding a wax or a sealant. It's kind of the icing on the cake when you're working with it. And when you do multiple layers, particularly with something like Mohs, you're going to increase those looks a little bit more. And because it's a coating, it's a gloss level that's going to stay for long periods of time before slowly dropping off toward the end of its life cycle. Speaking of that, let's take a look at durability of it. Now, the nice thing about coatings is you can put them on when it's done properly, and with a good product, you can expect a couple of years of durability out of it. You're not going to be able to wash it off with a strong wash solution like you would a wax or a sealant. So that just means you've got less maintenance that's going to be involved. Instead of out there, spending an hour or two re-waxing your car every month, you put this on, and simple maintenance for a couple years is all that you're going to need with it. And you also get a little bit harder surface than what the clear coat itself provides. With most clear coats, you're getting a level of 3H roughly, and this typically is going to add 3H more to the hardness level of it. And by putting a couple coats on there, you're going to make sure that you realize as much hardness to it. Now, we've seen videos out there of people doing crazy things with coatings, the old lighter test, things of that nature. That was debunked a little bit by one of our friends over in Europe who did a video of it, and then afterwards he said it was Vaseline we put on the surface. So you're not going to get this magical level of hardness on a finish that's going to be like a diamond that prevents all scratches and bullets can bounce off of it, all that kind of nonsense. You put a coating on, you're going to add a little bit of hardness to it. It's going to be more resistant to marring and things, particularly when you're doing washing and drying. But having said that, you can take a coated car, if you run it through the Swirl-O-Matic car wash, chances are you're going to get scratches and swirls on it. Nothing is going to prevent that from happening just because it's so abrasive. And then self-cleaning. I want to talk about that a little bit, because a lot of people don't really understand when we talk about self-cleaning characteristics. It's not like you wake up in the morning and you go out your car and magically it's been washed all again. No, that's not it. It just means that stuff doesn't stick to the surface as easily. The surface tension with it, things just kind of fall off, particularly with water, so less sticks to the surface. So when you go to wash the vehicle, it's easier because it doesn't get as dirty. And if you're living in parts of the world like we do here in Ohio, where you've got harsher winters and you got a lot of snow and salt and everything else, that self-cleaning characteristic is nice because you don't have as much buildup on the surface. So when you do get that break to clean it up, it cleans up easier. Or if you wait till spring to go through a thorough cleanup, there's not as much involved because everything isn't sticking to the surface. I also did a video showing the wheels on our Z06 Corvette coated with Mohs, and it cleans up very easy just because stuff doesn't get a chance to stick to it as much. So that's self-cleaning. All right, now let's get directly into the application process of Mohs. And when you buy Mohs, it comes in a complete kit, which is absolutely fantastic. They've thought everything through. You're getting your Mohs coating itself, you're getting your applicator pad and suede cloths, you're getting a dropper, you're even getting a protective mask at the same time. The other things that you'll need with it, obviously you want some high quality microfiber towels, and Geon Prep is your friend when you're dealing with coatings or when you're dealing with polishing at the same time. It also comes with Cure. What Cure is an aftercare product that we'll get into. Some people make the mistake and think somehow Cure is needed to cure the product once it's on the surface, but that's not the case. And first of all, let's talk about prep as in the product and prep as in the process of getting the car ready for your coating application. And one misconception I've seen out there in this industry is that you have to polish the paint before doing coating, and it affects bonding, this and that and the other. That's really not the case. The reason why you want to polish the surface is to get it to look as good as possible. Most of your looks is going to come from the polishing stage, not your coating stage. Coating stage is kind of the icing on the cake. So if you've got the ability to first polish out the defects, polish out the swirls, bring a higher clarity level to the finish, then apply your coating, you're going to get the best looks out of it, but it's not going to affect the results in terms of durability, bonding, or any of that. And the other key factor is you want to have that surface as clean as possible. Go through your normal washing process using something like Geon Bathe. Give it a full wash. Use Geon iron for decontamination if necessary, tar for removing any kind of tar sediments. Clean that surface perfectly. Then take something like Geon Prep. We like to do a couple of wipe downs with it, spray it directly on the surface, wipe everything down, and that will help to remove any kind of residues or any waxes or sealants or whatever on that finish, to remove that, because those can have a negative impact on the durability or the bonding of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our coating and our coating applicators. And one thing about these, we've talked about in some other videos, is you want to make sure the cap area is completely cleaned off. So you'll find when you open it up, you might have tiny little pieces of crystallized coating at the top, that if those were to get on your applicator pad, they would wreak havoc on the finish and scratch it up. So you don't want that. Shake the bottle well, open it up, then grab a couple of old towels or paper towels, completely clean that surface to make sure that you've got no little particles on there. Then you're going to take your applicator pad, you're going to wrap it around the block. And one thing that we like to do is we like to slice the sides of our applicator block. That way when we put the cloth on, we can tuck them into the sides and just keeps your hand from getting cramped up during the process. Then when you're applying the coating, you can take your dropper with it and you can evenly disperse it on the pad. Once again, you want to look at the pad to make sure that you're not getting any kind of glass particles on there that could scratch up the surface. So once you have a nice even distribution of product on there, you're going to go over to the surface and you're going to apply it in a crisscross pattern. So if you're working an area, first you're going to go straight arm movements back and forth, then you're going to switch in a crosshatch pattern and go back right against it. And the reason why we're doing that is because we want even coverage. And by going two different directions, we know that we're getting that. With Mohs, you want to use a little bit thicker application than you would some other coatings on there. Now, you don't want to lay it down to a point where it's dripping or running, then you're using too much. But you want a thick, nice, even layer as you're going around the vehicle. And another thing about Mohs that acts a little bit differently than other products out there, it is going to bond to the surface almost instantly. and it's also going to dry a little bit more quickly than other products out there on the market too. So for us, we're going to work it in a little bit smaller areas. Now there's some products out there that you can do many areas and then go back and wipe off and it's fine. There's other products on the market that you can only do one small section at a time, apply, remove, and go on to the next section. Those can get a little bit tricky. With Mohs, we find that doing maybe half a section at a time, do half a door, apply, then remove. Then the other half of the door, apply and remove. And you should be good to go. If you find that you're running into it get a little tacky to remove, then you're stretching your area out too far. Try to bring your work area in a little bit before you do the removal. And speaking of the removal process, you want to use a couple of towels during that process. After you've applied it, then you're going to go back and you're going to work the area removing it with your first towel, and that should get rid of about 80% of the coating residue. And you come back with a separate secondary towel and you finish all of that off. And you want to try to go in straight line motions as much as possible, and you really don't need to use any pressure during this process. And keep in mind, as you're wiping an area, typically you're going to be spreading the coating to adjacent surfaces. You want to make sure and wipe that off as well. And when you sit back and look at the surface, you want to look for any dark patches. Those are areas where you haven't completely gotten it removed. Should you allow that to completely dry, you're going to have to compound those to get it off, because that's a very thick coverage of coating, and that's not what you want. Part of that inspection, standing back, use a flashlight, look around the area to make sure that you're getting all of the surface removed. And typically what we're going to do is we're going to start on the top surfaces, work our way down. We do a roof, do the hood, do the trunk lid, then work on those vertical surfaces and go all the way around the car. Once you're done with it, you're going to be throwing away your suede cloth applicators, because these are going to get hard. You're going to throw away your towels afterwards, because these are going to get hard, they get crystallized, and you don't want to risk scratching up the surface afterwards. And on the suede applicator cloths, typically speaking, you're going to go through a couple of these on one car. As you go around the vehicle, take a look. Occasionally you'll get some dust and stuff build up. You can flip it over to the other side to a clean area. Then you can switch off to a new one. I said these are going to get thrown away, and you get more than enough to do a complete vehicle application. Do the entire vehicle, inspect it thoroughly. If you've got several different light sources, if you got overhead lights, you have a flashlight, take it outside. We've found that cloudy conditions outside really show off if you've got some areas that you didn't get it completely removed. Now, if you want to do multiple applications, with Mohs they recommend at least 2, but you want to give a minimum of an hour before doing your second, and optimally you want to wait 3 to 4 hours between coats when you're putting it on, because you need a certain amount of drying of the first layer before putting a secondary layer. And you're going to go through the same process. You don't need to wipe it down with prep or anything in between, but do the same process on that second layer, or if you want to do a third, same thing. We also find out that it's better if you do them back to back, as opposed to applying a coating one day and coming back the next day and doing another one. Because of the chemical reaction that happens between the layers, it prefers a shorter amount of time between applying the levels of coat. So now we've got it all done. A couple things that we want to keep in mind. First of all, we want to keep this dry, the surface dry, as long as we possibly can. Absolute minimum is 24 hours, but you want to go much longer than that if at all possible. This will continue to cure for about a week, sometimes 2 weeks. So if you're to put it on, and if you're to wash it in a couple of days, or it sits out, if it's a real hot, humid area, then you get rain and then it bakes in, you have a chance of getting water spots on there. So keep it dry as long as you possibly can. And then when it comes to the maintenance aspect of it, after you apply this, and once again you wait a few hours, you can use Cure. This is the maintenance product for it. Also, this can help prevent water spotting when it's still going through its curing process. So just a little bit of this product sprayed onto your towel, wipe it into the surface, flip it over, buff it off. If you use too much, you will get streaking. Very, very, very little bit of product is required. But once again, wait at least a few hours after you've finished applying your Mohs before you use something like Cure on top of it. And if you're going to wash the vehicle, wait at least 7 days before you use any kind of wash solution on a freshly coated car because, once again, it continues to cure for a long period of time. Then on the maintenance aspect of the vehicle afterwards, it's really simple. You want to wash it with a good pH neutral shampoo, something like Geon Mohs, and you want to use a specific product designed for coated vehicles for the maintenance of it. Cure is one of them. We have other products that we offer that do the same thing in the Polish Angel line, the Kamikaze Collection line. But as long as you're using something that's designed for it, don't use any quick detailers, don't use waxes, sealants, things of that nature. But if you follow those instructions, you will find that you get a really good coating that's going to last a long time. If you try to rush it, you could get streaks. If it gets wet too quickly, you can get water spots. So follow those instructions and you're going to get a really good coating. It's going to protect your vehicle for a long period of time. Okay, now we are in the home stretch, so to speak. It's been a long video, a lot of information. We definitely appreciate you sticking with it. We've got one last group of topics to cover and we will be finished up. Now with Mohs, what you have to think of Mohs as, it's a platform for many other ways to go along with it. The Mohs is actually the exact same base as what you will find in their Pro only coatings. If you look at the Durabead and if you look at Mohs Plus, you're getting 80 to 90% of all the benefits of those pro level coatings just in Mohs, because that starts off with 2 layers of Mohs and it has another product or coating that comes along with it that is not available to the general public. So having said that, that kind of puts into perspective how high end of a product this is that's available to everybody. Now, once you have laid down your 2 to 3 layers of Mohs, you've got some options of what you want to do with it. We talked about just using Geon Cure as your maintenance product for it. Simple to use. One thing that we do like to do on this is we dilute it 50-50 with distilled water. That way you have less of a chance of using too much product and getting any kind of streakiness out of it. And then here we've got a few different products kind of in ranking of durability that's going to go along with it. The other one that we can do is wet coat. And we have a separate video on wet coat, kind of shows how to use it and talks about all the benefits of it. But that is really about the simplest product of them all. You're going to get an extra couple of months of durability out of it. It's literally spray a little bit on after you've washed it, rinse it off, dry it, and the car is done. Very good hydrophobic properties that you're going to get out of this as well. Another one that is a very popular way to combine things is using Geon Can Coat afterwards. And you're going to wait until it's cured. I'd probably wait at least a week or 2 before putting it on. But once you apply this, once again, very simple, spray a little bit into your rag, wipe it on the surface, flip it over, and wipe it off. By itself, Can Coat will give you about 6 months worth of durability, and it has some of the craziest water beating characteristics that you've ever seen. So if you're really into having a high level of hydrophobic properties, Can Coat might be something that you want to go along with. And finally, you've got Geon Booster. Now what this is designed is to take any level of base coating and you apply it, it's another coating itself, and you apply it on top of it, and it's going to boost the durability. Most coatings you're going to get about an extra 12 months worth of durability and hydrophobic properties out of the base coating that you have. In this case, we're using Geon Mohs. Put this on top, and then it's kind of leave it alone kind of thing. Then you go back to maintaining it with something simple like Cure. One thing that I want to warn people about, and you see it a lot on Facebook groups and forums and things of that nature, where people are trying to find ways to layer 5, 6, 7 different kinds of product, and that's completely not necessary. And in most cases, you're going backwards in terms of performance, and you're spending a lot of money that you don't need to. So you're not going to want to lay down booster, then lay down can coat, and then wash it with Geon Bathe Plus, and then spray it down with wet coat, and then finally wipe it down with this. You don't need to worry about doing things. Keep it simple, and you're going to get great results out of it. Don't try to layer too many different kinds of product out there. And finally, I want to talk a little bit about where you can use it. Obviously, you can use it. It's designed for the painted surfaces of your car. That's going to be the most popular application. But another thing that you can use it for that most people don't stop and think about is using it on wheels. Pull the wheel off, get it a deep clean, and then apply 2 to 3 layers of Mohs on it. I'm sure you've seen the video we've done on Gyeon rim. That is a good starting point for rim protection. Here in the shop, we like offering good, better, best level of services. And in our best level of service, it's going to be multiple layers of Geon Mohs or a Mohs Plus system. It's going to be more expensive than what Gyeon rim is, but it's going to last a little bit longer as well. Mohs, let's say you use a bit on the rest of your car, you have some left over, wheels are a good place to use it. Exhaust tips are another fantastic place. This is a Krapovich titanium and carbon fiber exhaust tip that was on my Z06 Corvette. I put multiple layers, both inside on the titanium and outside on the carbon fiber surfaces. And literally, even after I went to a track day, I can come back with a little bit of Geon prep, wipe it right off. It did not stick to the surface. It's high temp rated, so it's not going to be broken down with the temperature of your exhaust tips. So exhaust tips, brake calipers, wheels, painted surfaces, it's going to work great on all those areas. Well, we've covered a tremendous amount of information on Geon, on Mohs, where it stands in the industry, how to use it, and how to get the most out of it. It's a fantastic all-around coating product that can be used as a platform for other combinations that you want to go with. And once again, you get 80 to 90% of all of the benefits out of it than you do their top level Pro Series only coatings. Something that we've been using for years now, we've been very happy with, and it's just a tremendous product. As always, go to our website, esotericcarcare.com. Take a look at the product page for Mohs and read some of the feedback that others have written on there. And if you've got some information that you would like to share, experiences, tips, tricks, combinations, take a few moments to fill out the review form. Also, if you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel because we're constantly updating new videos on car care products, tools, and techniques. Finally, we appreciate it when you share our videos, especially very comprehensive ones like the Mohs video here, on your favorite automotive forum, detailing forum, or social media. Well, for Geon Mohs, for Esoteric Car Care, I'm Todd Cooprider. Thanks. We'll see you again next time.